Hello, good morning. Today we're talking about what curriculum I am thinking about using for my uprising 12th grader, uprising 10th grader, uprising 9th grader. I will have three in high school in this upcoming year. So let's chat about it. It will be a visual type of video because I want to show you a lot of the different things that we are doing as well as what we are considering. So I'm going to go back and forth with my notes and chat with you. If you saw my recent video about just a mid-year update, I spoke about all of these subjects that my kids are currently taking. My 11th grader, medieval writing by IEW, biology, geometry, unity, graphic design, Spanish, and government, economic, and personal finance. And I gave an update that for his 11th grade year, everything is going well. Along with those subjects for my 11th grader, for my 9th grader, we are doing a combination of Winston Grammar and Easy Grammar Plus. We have some spelling and vocabulary. She is also doing biology, algebra 2, theater, and Spanish, and also government, economics, and personal finance. For my youngest, my 8th grader, she is working alongside her sister with Winston Grammar, Easy Grammar Plus, as well as Introduction to Chemistry, and she is doing Algebra 1, and she is doing Spanish 1. And she's touching lightly on Guest Hollow's Government, Economic, and Personal Finance. I tweaked that for her. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the loop subjects that they do together. Apologetics by Educate for Life, fine arts appreciation, health and nutrition, and ongoing life skills, which include a weekly sit down with the well-planned gals, high school forms, the documents, going through those in a guidance counseling sort of situation, and making sure that they are up to speed and up to date with all the terms in that high school form book. Same thing that if you attended a public school or private school, you may have attended the guidance counselor's office once a week. I did it on a Friday. To the best of my knowledge, that's the day that I went. I would go on a Friday for about 30 minutes every other Friday, something like that, and sit down with the guidance counselor and just talk about where we are in my freshman year, where we are in my sophomore year, what are we doing for my junior year, how do we get things moving for my senior year, and just talking about the tests that were involved, talking about different options as far as after high school, talking about what it means to be a sophomore, talking about all the terminology, etc., etc. So that's what we have been doing, and it has been enlightening because there are some questions that come up that maybe a homeschooling mom would just assume, oh, they already know that, but no, they really don't, because remember, you are the teacher, the principal, the guidance counselor, the whole 9 yards, especially in the high school years. And so I feel that that's very important to sit down and have some sort of a guideline to make sure that your kids understand the high school terms, the forms, the documents, the portfolios, the transcripts, course descriptions, all of those things, what a credit is, etc. So those are the things that we have been doing. Now, let's chat about what we're considering. And we've been in communication, my husband and I, with each of the kids on some of their likes and their desires, where they feel they are right now. We've been chatting with them about how they would like to proceed in the future and things along those lines. So just keeping the lines of communication open. And in the high school years, that's very, very important. So I did a video recently speaking on this subject. Turning 16, and then all of society thinks that you need to get a job, get your driver's license, and you need to commit to do enrollment classes. You need to enroll in college credit courses ASAP. And I just don't believe that to be true. In your homeschooling family, you get to decide what that looks like for you. And in past conversations as a family, it was just not the time for my now 11th grader to take any dual enrollment courses, and now we're talking about it, and we need to make a decision soon, because that enrollment process is a little lengthy, and we want to make sure that we meet deadlines and things like that. And so we're considering it. We may or may not do it, or he may or may not do it. It's just a conversation that we are having. We are discussing physics for him as an option. We've laid out some other science classes for him to think about, and physics might be the best option for him with a long-term goal of something in the technology field. And again, not saying that he doesn't know what he wants to do. He has a few ideas lined up of, I want to do something in the technology field, something with editing, something with computer programming. But again, if your child doesn't know what they want to do and they are a senior in high school, they are in the 9th grade, it is okay. I should start the video with that. It's gonna be all right. I promise you, it's gonna be okay. Now, with that being said, since my son has an idea of his interests long term, we'd like to help nurture that. And so physics could be on the table. And so if you know of a good physics course that you can share with me, please do so in the comments below. Pre-calculus. So he is registered and ready to rock and roll with pre-calculus. All of the kids actually are for their math course. We have done some research, and we stumbled upon Well-Trained Mind Academy online with live teachers, live sessions, live interaction, the whole 9 yards, and it has worked for our family 100%. It has worked. In the high school years, that is one less thing that we don't have to be in control of, and it has just worked so well. And so we're going to continue with Well-Trained Mind Academy for him. He's going to be taking pre-calculus. Some other ideas that are on the table, and this would be in the electives category, and I'm just going down my list here. So I'm going to, let's go to history. Let's go to foreign language and history, and then we'll jump back to electives. So foreign language, we are going to continue with Spanish 2. And then for history, not so sure he needs another one. We may plug in some sort of historical elective technology type of thing for history, but just kind of up in the air on a social science or history. So that's something that we need to discuss, and I need to do some more research on some things that other seniors are doing. I am looking closely at what our local high schools are doing, public as well as Christian schools, and just also comparing that those subjects to some that are in college as well, and just trying to gauge his interest on what he may want to do. So for history, we're kind of in the loop, kind of how that whole conversation just went. I was kind of all over the place, but so for history, we're still trying to figure that one out. Let me know below what your 11th or 12th grader might be doing for history and what curriculum they might be using, so I can share that with my son and we can talk about it as a family. Let's jump back to electives. We have engineering, we have computer programming 2, and we have cryptography. Okay, so what is cryptography? Let me read to you what that is. Cryptography is the science of securing information data through the use of codes and ciphers. In this course, students will explore the history of how the codes and ciphers were developed and how they were used from ancient times to the modern world. The course will focus on the mathematical principles of cryptography and real-world applications to keep data safe. Okay, so the prerequisite for this course is Algebra 1, and he already completed that. And so this could fit into an elective, and maybe history? I don't know. I have to look into it a little further. Have any of your kids done cryptography? Let me know. The course includes modular arithmetic. Prior experience in manipulating equations is necessary. Let's talk about my current 9th grader. So we are considering for her English portion something to do with diagramming. She asked me just about a week or so ago, could you find something for me that includes diagramming? And because she is reaching out to me, I would like to honor that request, and I would like to find something that is going to just carry that request. All the diagramming that I am thinking of was included in the Abeka curriculum when they were younger. And speaking of which, I've had, I don't know, so many questions about our time with Abeka and our time with Abeka and classical conversations. So if you are interested in hearing about that, or you have questions concerning our time doing Abeka and classical conversations together, please let me know below. I just haven't heard of any high school courses that have diagramming. So if you know of something along those lines for English for her, please let me know. For science, not so sure. She's in biology right now, and she is just sailing in biology, and she enjoys it so much. And so we're just not sure, are we going to do chemistry or something else? So let me know what your uprising 10th grader will be doing. I just enrolled her in Well-Trained Mind Academy's geometry class. And so kudos to that program. I'm very, very thankful for that Well-Trained Mind Academy platform. And if you'd like to hear more about Well-Trained Mind Academy, let me know below and I'll put together a whole video on how the whole thing works. She is interested in doing Latin. I just want to do a little bit more research on her currently taking Spanish 1, and then now we've switched over to Latin. I want to be careful on that. So if you have any feedback on that, please let me know, because most students do Spanish 1, Spanish 2, or Greek 1, Greek 2, or Latin 1, Latin 2. And so she just really enjoyed Latin. It had a lot of diagramming when we were doing it with Memoria Press. And so that's where we are with her foreign language. She wants to not continue Spanish 2, but jump into Latin. Tell me your thoughts on that below. Two of the electives that my uprising 10th grader is considering is cryptography and introduction to number theory. My uprising 10th grader, I'm considering repeating Gestalo's world geography and cultures for her. And what I mean by that is she mildly touched on it when my son was in the 9th grade and she was in the 7th grade. So she didn't do all of the work. I just kind of brought her and her sister along for the ride, the fun stuff. And this time it would be for high school credit. So that's one of the history topics that we're thinking of. I tweaked it heavily for them when they were in younger grades, and my son was getting high school credit for it. And so they have seen it. They just didn't dive into the deep blue sea with it and do everything that would entail a high school credit. Let's talk about my uprising 9th grader. For English, up in the air. Just can't seem to figure out which route we're gonna go with her for English, and that's okay. So hers is still questionable. For science, she's taking Introduction to Chemistry, and with that being said, for science, she's probably going to take a chemistry course for her 9th grade year. There are a few other options that we are considering. Maybe biology. It would make sense for her to go from Introduction to Chemistry, which she's doing right now, into just regular chemistry. And so that's kind of where we're talking through that. For algebra, she is going to do Algebra 2, and that is through the Well-Trained Mind Academy. As far as her foreign language goes, she is in the Spanish 1 high school course that my other two children are taking, and so it's just a matter of continuing on with Spanish 2 for her as her foreign language. I just spoke about Gestalo's world geography and cultures, thinking strongly about doing a repeat of that curriculum, but diving into it as a full high school credit. And so she may be doing that alongside her sister. Now, I know I'm piggybacking a little bit between my two youngest, my uprising 10th grader, my uprising 9th grader, and they'll be doing a lot of things together. As you can imagine, once you get into that 11th and 12th grade year, things just start to separate a little bit more for my 11th grader going into his senior year, and then my two younger children. Bittersweet, but this is the season. I'm embracing it. I am loving these teenage years. I'm loving this homeschool life, and I'm loving homeschooling through high school. I really am. With that being said, I try so hard to make sure that there is something that they do together. So right now, their loop subjects is what I call it, or the ones that they do together is the government, economics, and personal finance. But they also do apologetics together, fine arts, health and nutrition, and ongoing life skills. And then we have some read alouds and that sort of thing. Next year, it will look different. Next year, I'm sure that we will be doing apologetics together, and I can't speak enough about this apologetics program. So we will have that together. We probably will not have history together in our family subjects, and that's just the way that it's going. That's just the way that it is. And you get to a certain point in the high school years, it's something that you have to like my kids say, lock in. You just have to grip it and accept it that your family subjects are going to look a lot different. And so with that in mind, apologetics for next year, we're going to continue with Educate for Life, fine arts, and health and nutrition. So let's talk about fine arts, and that's through Beautiful Feet, and then the hymn portion of it is through Master Books. And when we come together for our apologetics time, which is through Educate for Life, but also I have some other books as well that I will read through and share, and we'll do our Bible time, all of that. The health and nutrition is by Not Consumed, and it's called Thrive, and that is going to be self-paced. However, the fine arts portion, the hymns, and life skills will all be in our morning time together. And right now we are meeting for 2 hours. Some days it's an hour and a half, and we only meet on Monday, by the way. So I should preface that and say we meet on Monday. We meet for 2 hours. Some Mondays we meet for an hour. Some Mondays we meet for an hour and a half. But we have that time slotted for that. And next school year, we will probably meet for less than 2 hours, and it will probably be more of a consistency of an hour to an hour and a half, perhaps, just depending on just life and growth. And my son now possibly taking dual enrollment classes, and maybe he's going to be working. I don't know. The basketball season, if we continue with basketball, that's a big time commitment. And so all of those things are on the table as far as the family subjects are concerned. The one thing I didn't add was the physical education aspect of it, or the exercise aspect of it, and the health and wellness that we are trying to build and instill in our kids will probably be in the form of basketball. We are currently in it right now, and I can see it continuing next year, maybe even track and field. We did track and field last year. We just didn't add it to this current year. I feel like I mentioned more of the subjects that we are considering over the curriculum. I did speak on a few here and there. I need help with curriculum choices for some of these things that I mentioned. Diagramming in the 10th grade, Latin in the 10th grade. Let's see, any technology courses that you might think of for my oldest, and for my 9th grader, some curriculum ideas for English would be great. AW is always an option, but just looking for some fresh ideas, something maybe a little bit more hands-on for my uprising 9th grader. My uprising 10th grader more than likely will be doing the IEW curriculum, but for my 9th grader, I'm just looking for something a little different. Let me know. Her space here for electives is kind of empty, and so I need to chat with her about some things that she may be interested in. I know theater is always there, so that's an idea, but I need to figure out what other what else sparks her interest, and see what other courses we can add. What electives are your kids taking? And you may not know that right now, and that's okay. You may just be here to get some ideas from me, but let me know if you do. All right, so if you have any questions at all, please let me know below, and we'll see you in the next video.